The 47, well, it was originally 49 councillors. Two of them, Billy Lafferty, died, and Peter Lloyd tragically was killed in Spain. So eventually became known as the 47.
What we had was a group of councillors. It didn't happen by magic. It just didn't happen by people thought it'd be a good idea to oppose the Tories. What happened was the Labour group was selected by the District Labour Party and the trade union movement, and people given undertaking at the time that they would fight the cuts and they would implement District Labour Party policy.
So they represented, if you will, the collective will of the Liverpool working class, and they very loyally implemented the policies determined by the Liverpool District Labour Party.
The one thing which I think most of the 47 had in common is that they were active trade unionists and had played a role in defending terms and conditions over a number of years.
People say, well, you're defeated. And we answer this: if half a dozen of the major local authorities had stood firm with Liverpool, who joined us in the campaign at the outset, but one by one crumbled, the likes of Blunkett, the likes of Livingston, one by one crumbled, leaving Liverpool in isolation along with Lampert. Once we were in isolation, and with the treacherous attack by Kinnock at the party conference, then the Tories were able to defeat us. But we weren't defeated at the ballot box. We were defeated by one man, the district auditor, who came into Liverpool like Thatcher's hired gun. And he removed us from office. We were framed. He came to this city, he was here for 3 months, and he couldn't find anything inappropriate in our handling of the council's financial affairs. But we delayed setting a cuts rate. We set a needs budget into June when we should have set the budget in April. And on those grounds, he removed us from office because he argued we lost this council £106,000 of interest. A complete frame-up, but that was the only way they can remove us from office. And I'll finish on this note here. The purpose of this meeting today is not to exchange nostalgic stories, which is all very good, but is to look at what we did in Liverpool and use that as an example of what the movement should do today.
Well, the militant tendency was a tendency within the Labour Party, and it was a group of people who were on the left of the party, if you like.
There were many tendencies in the Labour Party. There was Tribune, there was Campaign for the Labour Victories, there was a manifesto group. The difference between Militants and the others was that Militant was far more focused, far more clear, expressed itself with great clarity, and clearly stood for the implementation of socialist policies, both within the party and in their broader society.
The irony is, by a militant fighting programme and struggle, as other speakers have pointed out, we created a marvellous example of reforms in this city. If you ask for little, you'll get even less. In that period, it was a demonstration of what the power of working people, not just a group at the top, but the power of working people in action at the present time. No, we had no hesitation of stepping outside a vicious class-based law. They refused to pass on the cuts. They introduced a needs budget. Could this be done today? Absolutely. We have here Keith Morrell from Southampton Council, who's already taken the step of submitting a needs budget. At the moment, unfortunately, there are a few councillors who've gone down that road. But what we need is a mighty movement to convince working people to force these people to take to the road of struggle or get out of the way and make way for those people who are.
No, we had a situation where about 22 local authorities came together to oppose the cuts that were taking place at that time. Ultimately, it came down to Liverpool and Lambeth, whose councillors eventually ended up being surcharged for delaying the setting of a rate. But initially, there was quite a number of councils that were opposed to it. If we look at the reason why Liverpool, I suppose, led the fight, it was because perhaps more had took place in terms of industrial decline in Liverpool, whereby people like myself refused to carry on a situation where people kept on losing their job. There was a need to say enough is enough, and in Liverpool particularly, that's what we did. We said enough's enough, we're not adding to the unemployment figures. I think it says about the labour movement in Liverpool and the people of Liverpool that they're prepared to fight for what is right and for what's fair, and they're not asking for handouts. It's never been about that. I think it comes down to people turning around and saying, look, we want an opportunity, a chance, something whereby we can take on some form of employment, and we'll try and do our best with that. But if you don't provide any opportunity, that's when people start turning around and saying, look, this is wrong.
You know, when Dave Walsh contacted me and said, look, we're trying to organise an anniversary, 30-year anniversary of the Socialist Liverpool Council, to celebrate what they did and to also learn lessons for the future. Can you be available? I said to him without any shadow of a doubt, because I wanted to come here to pay my respect to that council, to pay my respect for what they did, to recall, not just nostalgically, Felicity was right when she made that point and Paul before, but to understand the truth of what happened and to perhaps draw lessons from it.
Here we are today with another Tory government. The Labour Party is pretty much similar, so to, you know, almost identical to the Tories. And what we need is a fighting back organisation. And this exhibition coming on the 30th anniversary, which was supported by all the trade unions, I got it through the Regional Committee of Unite in the North West, and it was supported unanimously by all of the delegates to the Regional Committee. Unite, PCS, RMT, CWU, GMB have all thrown in money to make sure that what was achieved by those 47 councillors is remembered, so that we can learn the lessons of how to struggle today.
We are absolutely bound to defend each other and support one another, whatever comes up. And I believe that the policies we need now are at least as radical as the ones that we had in Liverpool in the early 80s. And I think that we need to be inspired by what you did to get the courage to tackle these problems today. Because they are not insuperable problems. They are the problems based on the existence in power of a party that believes in the class war. They see their job as hammering and limiting the working class movement so that it cannot look after its own members, and in this way destroying their morale so they can be the big boys forever. And what you proved in Liverpool is that cannot be done. It must not be allowed to be done. We have to say that again and again and again. And if we say it, we shall look back on the story of the Liverpool Socialist Council and be inspired by it, because that is the function of our campaign, to preserve confidence that we can win. And if we do that, then we're more likely to be able to win. So good luck, carry on, and continue to inspire people like myself up and down the country who never forget, will always remember what the Socialist Council did in Liverpool. Thank you very much indeed.